How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zan over here bringing you guys another To Be a Hero episode discussion. And for today's segment, guys, we are going to be talking about the season finale of To Be a Hero with a little bit of episode 11. Because honestly, guys, episode 11 and episode 12 literally could have been one entire episode in itself. But also because I might have been a little bit lazy in getting the last episode. And maybe I might have forgot. But who knows? But the point is, guys, let's get to it because this episode was actually entertaining. I actually was very entertained due to the fact that when we were watching episode 11, we were seeing Momo, Yamada, and Ulsan. They're trying to actually fight the Great Emperor. I honestly thought they were going to go a different route, but they actually did try to fight him. And which is very interesting because everybody gave it their all, and yet at the end of the episode, everybody died. Even freaking Min-chan was gone. Or freaking Yamada-san. Holy snap, this guy right here. This guy, great respect to this guy. Like, honestly, after watching this episode, it was very hilarious, but at the same time, and man, he went out in a blaze of glory. Like, he was that tragic hero that literally tried to do everything and yet still fails at the end of the day. But at least he gave out like a champ. That's what Yamada gave out. Now, Momo-san, I felt like he was more of the comic relief, but that's because there's a lot of gags that involve with feces with him, and it was kind of getting a little irritating, but it's just funny because of the fact that, he's such a very cool looking character, but yet his demeanor is just demasculated every time he's with his father, and he's doing all these gag jokes all around him. Like, it just makes it hilarious to see that character go down that route, and it makes him look like a very lazy boy at the same time. Like, honestly, like I said, very hilarious, but very, very fun to watch. Now, episode 11 also then involved that, still with the theme of what is his superpower, Ulsan. It still was revolving around the last two episodes as what is his superpower, and it seems that when he tried to fight the Great Emperor, don't get me wrong, it was very hilarious to see him actually try to punch the Emperor, and he's like just saying like, what are you trying to do, tickle me? And he actually still punches him and like literally obliterates cities while the fight is still ensuing, and you're here wondering like, holy snap, what the heck is going on? But later on, we move on to episode 12, because episode 12, now that's where things get really interesting, because episode 11 was just everybody dying, and then Ulsan literally then has a breaking point, because in episode 11, guys, like honestly, he's still remembering all the good times that he had with his daughter and everything. But moving on to episode 12, it moves on to a great season finale, and it left us an ambiguous ending, because later on in the episode we see that Ulsan starts fighting the Great Emperor and figures out what his true powers was, and that in itself was actually very self-explanatory once he starts reading the book that Min-chan was holding. And as he literally was reading the book, he literally saw that everything was connected dots. And honestly, this episode actually finally connected the dots, but it's also left to for every viewer for more of a discretion as to what their opinion on is about the show, because at the end of the day, guys, Ulsan was literally fighting for his life, literally. Not because of the Great Emperor, no. Because what the animators of Howliners Animation Studio did with the To Be a Hero story is the fact that because they want to keep it a family-centered story, and it literally strayed off from being the supernatural lore, but instead, it was literally an internal struggle, guys. An internal struggle between Ulsan and his fight with Akuma. Yes, guys, Ulsan literally had a coma, and they were explaining that literally the Great Emperor was literally himself, his evil persona, as you can say, or his work persona, the persona that Min-chan has created, because To Be Here was literally a story about Min-chan's own character. You're literally seeing a story through her set of eyes as to how she sees her father in her eyes, because of the fact that when she was young, her father was always at work, he was never around, and so what she did was she created this story, To Be a Hero, where her father was this great superhero that was able to combat everything, cockroaches that were infesting the house, and the father would smack it around. They would go to the zoo. There was what's it called, kangaroos, it's just everything all connected together. And that's the thing that I liked about that, was the fact that Min-chan and Ulsan really were connected in this episode. And it was very little tearful, don't get me wrong, it actually was, but that's due to the fact that, like I said, because of the characters that these two went through so much, that we also figured out that Ulsan himself was actually, he overworked, and he was living a lie to Min-chan, that he was really working like 12 part-time jobs. He was overworking himself. Like I said, it was just really becoming a little bit more depressing as the episode continued on through episode 12. But we learned more that Osan was literally trying to take care of his daughter in the best possible way, and he was traveling outside the world so he can give his daughter the best and possible lifestyle she can actually have. And like I said, it really connected to me, honestly, because that's how my father was. My father was always working, he was never around and everything. That's why and of course my father got sick as well, similar to what happened to Osan, because Osan went into a coma, and I almost teared because it literally really connected me, and my father and I had that same relationship where he was in the hospital for quite some time. And honestly guys, I really thought this episode was really impactful, and the meaning of family was really self-explanatory here, that Min-chan was literally screaming at the top of her lungs saying, you know, father, please come back, save us, you know, or like she was trying to basically bring her father from or at least out of the coma, but she missed her father. And then the episode then ends. It ends with Osan coming out of the bathroom, and like I said, it's leaving the viewers to their own interpretation as to what happened to the story. But like I said, though, I personally believe that what the story was trying to say is that this is how Osan really looks like, and that the father, when he had that Eichmann characteristics, I think that's when he was younger, and now that he looks like he's older and fatter and gained weight, that's because he's old now, and that's how he really actually looks like. And I thought to myself that, you know, he's really an old guy now, and you know, he has no superpowers. His superpower is basically he takes care of his daughter, his family. That's his greatest superpower, that he's able to be there for her, to love her and caress her, you know, and be there in dark times. That I thought was very hilarious, that they still involved Momo. Like, all the characters were still alive, don't get me wrong. Yes, they bring them all back in the story, but that's like all into their own interpretation. As we see, then Yamada is seen in a different perspective, as like I said, he was explaining to us viewers and Min-chan as to what really was going on with the whole family itself and the dilemma that they were facing. And like I said, though, it's just very tearful hearing that. Like I said, it really connected to me, honestly. I almost cried, like I said, because it really reminded me of, and I was reminiscing about my father a little bit right there. But like, honestly, Yamada, he literally looked older, and I think the reason that he looked like a pervert was because Min-chan saw him as like an older guy that was way above, you could say, out of the norm, you could say, of the type of people that his father would be really associated with, or at least she saw him as a creep. She basically saying that she saw Yamada as a creep. That's why he was always seen as that kind of person. But in reality, we saw Yamada, he really was just, he looked like a school teacher, and honest, like an old Japanese guy. I'm sorry, an old Chinese guy. Japanese guy, Chinese guy, whichever one of the two you guys want to enter. Like I said, it's all into your own interpretation as to how this episode went on at the end of the episode, because like I said, it was very tearful as to see all the characters then interact with each other. But even Momo made an appearance, and he really was actually Min-chan's, you know, boyfriend. But he was just a regular dude. But his father sees him as a, you know, as a load of garbage. And I think that's what the gag jokes was supposed to represent, that he's a load of garbage, and that he really can't amount to anything. Like I said, it's hilarious to see all of this connect to each other. But like I said, though, let me know down in the comments below as to what was your guys' own interpretation of To Be Here. Like I said, to me, it really felt like it was a story of a daughter wanting her father to come back from coming back from a coma, and from there on, their lives went back to normal, and everything kind of then literally felt like it was more surreal now, and there was no more supernatural lore, because like I said, it was all Min-chan's own vision to help her cope with the dilemma that she was facing with her family. Like I said, it's very interesting to see how it went along, guys. But let me know down in the comments below as to what you guys thought. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy my content, give a like, comment, share, and subscribe, as this is the last To Be a Hero episode discussion. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen, signing.